Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today, inshallah, I'm going to share with you regarding the human development inheritance. This will be the last topic that I'm going to deliver to you guys, inshallah. Okay. So before we go further, let's have a look at the learning outcome as usual. Yeah. So hopefully by the end of this lecture, students should be able to briefly describe the prenatal stages of the human development, starting from the formation of the gametes until the birth. And then secondly, hopefully the student should be able to describe the process of the delivery. And finally, I hope that the student will be able to describe what we mean by postnatal stages of the human development. So before we go further, I think it's good if we can have a look at some terminologies that we're going to use throughout this lecture. For example, the first terminology is human embryology. What the embryology means is actually a study talking about how the embryo develops inside the mother's womb. Okay, so when we talk about development, it has a lot of definition, but in the context of human embryology, development is we're talking about the maturation of the organs and in terms of anatomy and physiology of the organs, starting from the formation of the gametes, then it goes into the fertilization and until a human being become matured. Yeah, so we're going to use this term more and more throughout the lecture. We talk about prenatal and postnatal. So natal basically means the delivery, the birth, okay, the birth of the human being or the birth of the baby. So when we talk about developments that occur before the delivery, so we call it prenatal development, starting from the fertilization, the formation of the embryo until the fetal stage, and then the process of the delivery. Okay, then after that is we call it postnatal, meaning after birth, developments of the human being after being delivered here after birth. Okay, so these are the four major terminology. I think it's very important to have in your mind in order for you to understand the topics here. So okay, so let's have a look the overview about the stages of the embryo developments of the embryo. So we can have a look at these stages into two different perspectives. For example, in the Islamic point of view, based on the Quran, it's already mentioned thousand years ago that how the embryo has been formed. If you look at this surah, talking Al-Mu'minun surah verse 12 until 14, I think you are very familiar with this surah. And if we can read it, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَا نُطْفَةً ثم جعلناه نطفة في قرار مكين ثم جعلنا نطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما. Okay, so you can إلى الآخرة of the ayah. Okay, so what we can the G that we can take out from this verse is that we know that we are as a human being with being created from clay. And then it coming from the sperm. Okay, nutfah is talking a drop of sperm. Okay, and in other verse Allah mentioned nutfat al-amshaj, meaning it's not just sperm, it's a mixed liquid contains of sperm and as well as the ovum. Okay, so that's very starting from the starting point of the human being, and then from the nutfah they become alaqah. Alaqah means a clot of blood, segumpal darah. Okay, and then from the alaqah then become alaqah. Mudghah is a fetus, a lump of fetus, and in the description of the fetus is the lump is actually looks like something that being chewed. Yeah, chewed. I think I will share with you one video. It's very interesting videos talking about, describing about this process more in detail, because we have very short lecture on this. I give you additional links so that you can explore on the information. Yeah. Okay, this looks like being chewed because during the process of the human being, you can see the one of the earliest changes will take place in the formation of the vertebrae. So you can see a segment, the beginning of the segment of the vertebrae, and it looks like something being chewed. Macam ada kesan gigitan ya. Okay. Then what's the next? The next is from the mudghah become izam. Izam is the bones, and when you have bones, then after that followed by lahmas, covered by meats, by flesh. Okay, so this is basically a very interesting verse that talking about the stages and embryo, very detailed. And if we think about what happened in the past years when the Quran's been revealed, we didn't have the technology to talk about this, yeah. But so that's why I'm not sure whether I've been talking to you about the Prof. Kifmore. Yeah? Professor Kifmore is the embryologist, well-known embryologist. He been invited to Saudi Arabia to talk about this verse, and he acknowledged that the Al-Quran or this verse is not written by human being. No way that human being can describe as that detailed during that period of time. So again, I will give you the link. Perhaps you can have a look how he described how he give his opinion from the professional opinions regarding this verse. Yeah? Okay, so this is from the Islamic point of view, but in terms of the scientific findings or scientific point of view, we can the development of the embryo can be divided into stages, 2 stages, as I said. It divided based on the delivery, the birth. Okay, so before birth we call it prenatal stage, and after birth we call it postnatal stage. So what is prenatal stage? It's starting from before the embryo become pre-embryonic, meaning before the embryo the formation of embryo, we have the other stages, for example, gametogenesis and the fertilization. Then after the fertilization, they undergo cleavage, and after cleavage become morula, only then they become embryo. Yeah, and towards the end of the prenatal stage is the fetus stage. Okay. So if you look at the human gestation, the pregnancy period of a pregnant woman, it takes about 38 weeks. 38 weeks. But because of we don't know when the fertilization takes place, so the doctors will count try to estimate when is the fertilization takes place, because we know that if you look at this picture, we know that the cycle, the menstruation cycle of human being of a female is about 28 days, and we know that the period, the menses take place around 7 days, and then after that 7 days is followed a week after that will be the ovulation will take place. This is on average women around the 2nd weeks of from the first date of the last menses would be the ovulation would take place. So perhaps this is the period when the fertilization take place. So as a result of that, the doctors will estimate the dates of delivery by adding another 2 weeks ahead from the first day of the last period. So in total, we have the female pregnancy period will be 40 weeks. Why 40 weeks? Because we add another 2 weeks so that we can estimate the ovulation, where the fertilization takes place. Yeah? So it's very important for female when you go to the hospital. If you expected to be pregnant, you should know when is your the first date of your last menses. Yeah? So that's very crucial for the doctors to estimate the age of the pregnancy. Okay, the age of the pregnancy. Okay, so after the prenatal, they undergo the delivery, and then after that we'll follow with the postnatal stage, meaning from the neonate until the senescence. Senescence means I don't know, it's very synonymous with become senile, meaning you're very too old, very old. Okay, so let's have a look at details on the prenatal stage. And I think before we go to that, yeah, so you can see here, perhaps I can recall a little bit on this event, uterine cycle. You can see that during the menses, all these endometrium dislodged, and that will be come out from the female's vagina in terms of the blood and all the tissues, and then after that the endometrium will be built up again. Okay, they build up again in order to make them prepare for the pregnancy. If the at the 14 days, day 14, the ovulated secondary oocyte being fertilized by the sperm. Okay, so just to get prepared in case that there is a pregnancy, so the female have to prepare the endometrium to get ready, is ready to accept the fertilized egg. Yeah, so this is the overview of the developmental stages of the embryo. Okay, so let's continue with the second video. So that's for the introduction at the moment. Okay, thank you.